this is Mike Moo here. In the last video, of course, I created a video about the Comfee kitchen machine, which is right over here, and it is a multi-function unit that has a lot of things that you can do with it in the kitchen to help consolidate your kitchen appliances. So the kit itself, actually by itself, when you buy the kitchen machine, only comes with these three attachments, which is a whisk, a dough attachment, and a mixing attachment. But if you really want to take advantage of everything this unit does, you'll want to go ahead and get this. This is the Comfee stand mixer accessories kit, which adds a blender, a meat mincer, and a food processor. Now, of all these things, what we might be using the most over here in the Moo household is actually this right here. So we will probably be using this first to test that out. And then also the blender. But I already have a really nice blender that was given to me by my brother, which is the Vitamixer. Been using it for many years and it's worked out super well. But I'm actually going to use this first because I'm going to do a little bit of a watermelon type smoothie. So this kit actually retails about $40 US, and it really only comes in, I believe, only one color anyway, which is black and silver. I could be wrong because I know that the mixer itself, the machine itself, comes in multiple colors, at least three colors. I think a black, the silver right over there, and of course the red pictured down here. So these attachments fit right on top of the actual machine, and you know, there's different areas that these go ahead and attach. See, there's actually three different areas, one here, one underneath there, and the meat grinder attachment over there. Who knows if there's going to be any more attachments for this, but for now, for just over $100, you can actually get something that can do all of these things. It just remains a question of how well they do it. Is it good enough for someone who cooks quite a lot like my wife does? I know it'll probably be okay and good enough for a bachelor who lives in a really small apartment, because you have one small machine that can do a lot of things, maybe not super well, but well enough that it's worth the space to go ahead and have it. So I see the first item up top here is a meat grinder attachment, and this feels pretty heavy duty. It is definitely die cast aluminum with some steel going on in there. It feels like a quality product and attachment. I've never used a meat grinder myself before, but now that I have one, maybe I'll be able to do some burgers really well. My wife makes a really great burger, and if we can ground the beef ourselves, we might be able to do different combinations of patties that you can't typically do unless you do your own type of grind. And here's the different plates and attachments for different size grinds. I do believe that I saw somewhere that if you're going to grind your own meat there, you want them in bigger pieces. So having that flexibility of having the two different sizes is really good. Next up, we have the food processor attachment blade. One of them here looks like this is one type for shredding that I would probably use to shred carrots and stuff. And then we have, looks like the rest of the attachments for this piece right here, which is the food processing attachment, or the chute, if you will. So this is the chute where you stick in the items to be chopped up. It feels like a typical Lexan class style, well-made plastic that is, you know, really clear. And honestly, just looking at these attachments right here, I think the $40 is a pretty good value for what you get. I'm really interested to see exactly what the blender-like attachment is going to be in a bit, but we're just taking a closer look and see what we have here for the different attachments of the food processor. My wife really likes a simple one. I like the idea of being able to do multiple different types of cuts, but really, in all honesty, she probably just likes the chopping attachment. This one will allow me to do slices, maybe cucumber slices really quick for a salad. This feels a little bit more flimsier than the rest, and you actually have to be careful because these areas around here are somewhat sharp. So that is a bit of a negative. And I'm talking about the areas down here where you're handling it is kind of sharp, so it could cut you, so I might need to file that down. But of course, you definitely want this area, which is the actual blade itself, to be sharp. So I'd be very careful with this piece. This is probably the one that I'm a little bit disappointed with, because this part was not sanded down. Although it has a nice mirror finish, which looks really good. This is probably why they have all this stuff around it, to prevent it from hurting yourself. And then of course here's another one that allows you to, I don't even know what this is called. Basically make long, small strips of stuff. Right here, a grater. So here's another grater attachment. This is a smaller cut type of grater, so you want really thin slices versus the one that's already attached here. So it comes with those attachments, and of course the actual blade to do some of the chopping. This is 90% of the time what I see my wife using, but I will probably be using this one quite a bit more, because I'd like to have sliced vegetables and stuff that way in my salads, and I'm lazy that way with the knife. And it could potentially be safer if I file it down than trying to do it myself. And finally, at the very bottom, we have the blender attachment. And it looks like it's a similar type of Lexan material as the rest of it, which is good, because that's a pretty high quality Lexan. But the jar, you know, all these things here, this jar piece, and the food processor, I'd say the food processor, if you didn't have the motor attachment, would be kind of typical of what you get in a $30 cheap appliance, like by Procter Silex or Hamilton Beach. And I feel like this is the case as well. I've never really owned a really cheap blender before, but I would imagine that it looks and feels like this. However, this is a quality plastic. It just feels cheap in terms of lightweightness, but it's actually really solid. There's no way that I can actually squeeze or crush this easily with my hand, or maybe even my weight, because this is one of those type of shatterproof type of jars that you can have. Okay, there's a little bit of squeeziness going on in there, and the blades look a little bit iffy, but this will easily, you know, this will easily blend ice cubes and stuff. I have some frozen watermelon slices that I'm going to stick this right in there and give it a shot and try it out. So this is the one final other attachment. And without looking at the user manual, I'm going to go ahead and presume that this guy fits right up here up top. Let's see if I can go ahead and attach this up here in a certain way. It's either up front here or back here. Okay, so maybe it's back here. Okay, so it's in the back. All right, so that is where the blender attachment goes. And, you know, looking at the rest of the machine right here. Blender attachment here. This is obviously for the food processor attachment. And then finally over here in the front, we have the meat grinder attachment, which looks like it's right here. So this will then just kind of slide in somehow over here. Maybe what I need to do is, no, actually I can, it looks like I can just attach it right there. And then the meats and stuff just go right in there into that little section there where it just grinds it and spits it out depending on what size die plates that you have over there. And then finally, the food processor attachment. You can't run the blender and the food processor attachment stuff at the same time over here. So all these bits and pieces, I kind of wish that there was a better way to organize it and put it away, because that's kind of one of the most annoying things that you have to do when you have appliances, is losing bits and pieces of parts, you know, all over the place. Which, trust me, if you have never had to experience that before, because maybe you are just starting college or whatever, and you were considering having such an appliance in case you want to do some really nice fancy burgers, smoothies, maybe do a little bit of baking or some simple mixing, this could be an issue. So probably we'll need to figure out a way to go ahead and organize all these pieces. But I think for $40, a total price of under $150 or under $200, depending on what sales might or might not be going on, this looks like it's a pretty nice kit. So all these attachments were 40 bucks. The machine itself was about $100. I got it for like less than half that on sale. If you want to see if there's any current sales, please check out my affiliate links down below. And I got this on Amazon, so if after I try it, it's not great, then I have 30 days to go ahead and return it. So I suggest you guys also do and take advantage of that as well. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment down below. Please give this a like and a subscribe. Thanks for watching.